Okay, podium check, 1, 2, 3. Podium mic check, 1, 2, 3. Podium mic check, 1, 2, 3.
I like the hair.
I've got it printed and everything.
All right, manager mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Manager mic, test 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
What's your record this year?
Clerk mic, testing 1, 2, 3. County clerk mic, 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Attorney mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Attorney mic, 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Lopez mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Lopez, testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, testing 1, 2, 3. Dennis mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Dennis mic, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Meitzner mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Meitzner mic, 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. House mic, test 1, 2, 3. Beatty mic, hold on a second. Beatty mic, testing 1, 2, 3. Beatty mic, 1, 2, 3.
See? Oh. Yes. That's what we had. We had Papa Murphy's Jackal pizzas. That's our tradition. But yeah. Candy. No, we don't. I'm taking it. There's like a 60, right? Sugar bomb. So this year we're trading candy. Like I'm gonna let. Oh well, yes. Yeah. I'm not doing the switch thing because that's a whole lot of pressure. But I'm gonna let her help me separate them, and then we will negotiate how big the toy can be. Like.
Testing 1. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's mic 1 I was on. Okay. All right, Alan, testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, testing. Can you hear me? We're going to be starting in a little over a minute. Stand by.
We're getting close. We're getting close.
All right, we got 30 seconds. Stand by.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Joke for the day. What material
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. We've got a nice crowd here, and thank you for those watching on KPTS and our YouTube and Facebook connections. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, the day after Halloween, so again, and it's still cold, so we will call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk.
Invocation to be led by a moment of silence. Please remain standing for the flag salute.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Roll call. Commissioner Lopez. Present. Commissioner Dennis.
Present.
Commissioner Beatty.
Present.
Commissioner Howe.
Present.
Chairman Meitzner.
Present. Next item, please.
County announcements.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I am Nicole Gibbs of Strategic Communications. The 2023 general election is here. Early voting at the election office continues every weekday until noon on November 6th, and satellite voting centers open tomorrow, November 2nd. The great thing about voting early is you can go to any of these sites, but if you are sure you want to vote on Election Day, you must go to your assigned polling location. To find a list of early in-person locations or your designated polling site for Election Day, please visit sedgwickcounty.org/elections. Daylight saving time is this Sunday, November 5th. Sedgwick County Fire District 1 recommends changing your batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors each time you change your clocks. So it's a perfect time to do it this weekend. County Clerk Kelly Arnold would like to share an update on the 2023 tax roll that affects the 2024 budget. Sir?
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelly Arnold, County Clerk, coming here for some Good News Wednesday. So today is my annual date that I will certify the mill levy tax roll to the Treasurer's Office, and wanted to give you a little information on what that came out to. The Commission this year, I know, set their budget where they tried to reduce the mill levy by 0.37 from what they had on previously as 29.37 was your previous target. You guys wanted to target it at 29. My office then goes through and does the calculations, and the total calculations after this point was for the Sedgwick County mill levy is 28.988, which is actually a reduction of 0.1 or 0.012. This is first time in probably that I recall in my years that we actually had a reduction on it, what is called a technical adjustment. I think you guys have heard before. So the first time in my years here, it actually has been reduced. So in addition to the work that you guys did on your budget to reduce the mill levy, we've been able to kind of add that cherry on top to reduce it even more. So you guys are now under 29 mills. Just a little bit more, I want to talk about this is a process we started in June when the appraiser's office certified values to us. This is something my tax team, which we have actually have 3 members of my tax team here that I'd like to point out. We have Karen and Rhonda and Angela, and also Beth is the other one that work on doing all these calculations, working with the revenue neutral rate, which is something that has been new and very taxing on our office to do. We certify, or we work with about 100 taxing districts on that, and assist with about 50 local districts of helping them set their budgets, and then ultimately working on creating the mill levies for all this. But I just wanted to thank my team, not only the tax team, but the real estate records and department in my office does a ton of work, including the administrative part of my office dealing with phone calls and the customers that come in to ask questions about their taxes and their mill levies and everything. We get quite a number of calls, especially around a revenue neutral rate. And so anyways, I wanted to bring a little bit of good news that your mill levy this year is now going to be even lower than what you expected. So.
Wow. Well, that is Good News Wednesday.
Yeah.
Congratulations to your staff, and I know Kelsey's part of your staff too.
She's on the phones all the time helping customers.
So, is there any comments? I got a question since you're up here.
Chairman, I just want to say it's about time. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually think this is better than a round number. Thank you. It's really good to have a number that's as low as possible. And I noticed the last 3 digits of this is 988. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
I can think I can remember that number pretty well now.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about 988. So
Yes. It's a new
I
program.
think I had something I could do to remember that number. I figured out, I think, a way to do that. So thank you, Chairman.
Very clever, very clever. Hey, Kelly, just can you respond? We've had some inquiries just recently about the homestead tax exemption program. Can you summarize the options for seniors that might be watching about the homestead world? I think it all comes through your office.
Yeah, sure. So recently, there's been a lot more talk about it. I believe there's there was an article recently in a newspaper, plus also I know I believe the city of Wichita is working on some type of program that they're doing. It's been talked about recently. So there's actually 3 different programs. So you have the homestead, which has been in place for many of years. If you want me to give you a little bit of information about that, and so those that are listening can get an understanding what it is. To receive the homestead rebate, you must be 55 years or older, or must be totally or permanently disabled or blind, or have a dependent under the age of 18 living with you. The income level is for coming up in this next calendar year, 2024, is $40,500. So if you are under all that, you can come see us and we will help work with you on giving a homestead tax rebate. There also is a program called Safe Senior, and this program you must be 65, and the income limit for this is $23,700, and of course you must not have any delinquent property taxes. And on this program, you can get up to 75% of your taxes rebated. A little bit different than the homestead. And now there's a third program that got implemented this past year, which is called the Senior and Disabled Veterans Property Tax Refund, more commonly referred to as the Veterans Property Tax Refund. You must be 65 years of age. The income limit on this one is $53,600, or if you are a veteran that is considered 50% permanently disabled, you can be of any age, so there's no age requirement on that one, and you can participate in that. The other threshold on that is you must have a house valued no more than $350,000. Now, I will state this is a new program for the first year, and the legislature is already looking at increasing some of these numbers. Obviously, with home valuations going up, they want to try to keep up, and so I think they're looking at significantly bumping up that requirement or that minimum on threshold for the home. So these are programs that have been in place for a long time. These are actually state programs. My office is tasked by the state to assist our citizens and be able to file their paperwork. You can come into our office and we will look through your documents and decide which one actually is going to be the best option for you. So you don't have to just pick which one. We'll figure out what will be best for you. So.
Okay. And Commissioner Howe, thanks for explaining those. So those are three options. They're state programs.
Yep, state programs we assist with.
That the county clerks around the state
Correct.
helped execute the applications and file the exemptions if they qualify.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I also do want to say thank you to your staff. I didn't say that earlier. I appreciate what they do. They have a wonderful staff. I don't think I've ever actually heard, in all my years of being here, heard someone articulate these programs from this podium. So thank you for doing that this morning. I actually have a few questions about it, but maybe it might be just better. Could we collect the information in some kind of a handout or something I could put on Facebook? Or I think this is great information, and just to get this out succinctly, the way you just described it was a great opportunity for many people in our community. Second of all, when you talk about income level, is this adjusted gross income on your tax return? How do you determine their income level?
It is based on what your tax return is. So you got to bring in your tax documents to us, and if trying to think if there's anything specific on that. Kelsey here works on this daily during the program. I should also state the time to file for these is the beginning of January through April 15th. So you must file during that time frame for that year. So you bring your previous year's documents in, and we'll work with you. But there's that cutoff of April 15th.
That's good.
That's so you have to file your taxes early, so you have your forms ready to go. So if you file, let's say for this next year, we file our 23 taxes between in early part of 2024, right? And we would apply for that. Again, I'm not going to be qualified here, but they would apply for that sometime before April 15th of 2024 for the 23.
Correct. Yep.
And this is always a rebate on the taxes. It's not like they get an abatement, but it's a rebate.
You basically get a credit, back.
All right, that's great information. I just was curious. I can talk about it later, but the number on the form, is it the adjusted gross income, or is it your gross earnings, or what number on that form are they looking at?
It's your gross.
It's gross. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
again.
exactly
Appreciate
what
it.
it was. And also to answer part of your question, yes, we do actually have some cards that have this information on there for more information, and we can, and of course, we can always work with communications, getting something a little bit more tailored for our citizens.
Information. It reminds me also, I had a couple of calls. You referenced the active age article, and maybe it was part of the Eagle as well that got the word out.
They picked it
I
up,
think
yes.
that probably created some phone calls.
There's been some confusion, so.
Yeah, and one of them, I think in active age, of course, it's the political season, and one of the advertisements that the current mayor said in there was that it eliminated taxes for Wichita seniors. And of course, it doesn't define anything. So that the Wichita part, the city of Wichita part, is that, can you comment, does that come through your office, or what is that?
Right.
Or
So
if I'm not sure if that's what he was referencing, but I assume.
we're not 100% sure. This has caused some confusion. So therefore, we've been getting a number of phone calls the last few weeks about this. I understand that the city of Wichita has passed some type of program that they're going to implement on their own, which is separate than anything that my office or state is
Okay.
doing. I don't know how they're going to have an application process that. I don't know what type of income or limits they're going to have, or where they're going to get the money to do this. But that will be on their side of things. So anybody that calls, if we can help them with one of our programs, we will. If they're trying to reference to something else, then we'll just probably give them the direction of the city.
Yeah, refer them to the city
Yeah.
or the mayor's office. Okay, any other questions? So thank you. So comms team, I think this is a great discussion for seniors that are a high part of our population, and I think that's something that we should grasp, maybe this explanation, and post it for everybody. So thanks again, Kelly. Any other questions, comments? Don't see any?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Kelly.
That's all I have for today.
Okay, any other questions, anybody? Okay, don't see any. Thanks again. Okay, next item, please.
Public agenda.
We did not have anybody sign up for public agenda. So, is that correct, Tanya? Nobody signed up? All right, so we have no public agenda this morning. Next item, please.
Consideration of minutes. Item A, special meeting minutes of October 17th, 2023.
Commissioners, you've had a chance to review the minutes of October 17th. Any corrections or comments, or there is being none? I'll make a motion that we approve the special meeting minutes of October 17th.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye. Next item, please.
Proclamations. Item B, proclamation declaring Wichita Junior ROTC Leadership Day.
Okay, and we have asked Commissioner David Dennis, retired Colonel David Dennis, appropriate to read this proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I sincerely appreciate that. First of all, a couple comments before I read the proclamation. Normally, I have the opportunity to read this at the formal parade that JROTC puts on, and it will happen on Thursday, November the 9th, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning over at Century 2. This year, on November 9th, I'll be sitting in Congressman Estes' Air Force Academy Selection Board, so I've asked Jim Howell to be able to read that for me at that time. He is also an Air Force veteran, so I appreciate very much him setting in for me to do that. I'm going to read the proclamation, and then I want to introduce the guests that we have in the audience today that will be receiving that. So this is a proclamation of Sedgwick County, Kansas. Whereas Junior Reserve Officers Training was officially implemented in American high schools in 1916, began in Kansas in 1917, and in Wichita in 1994, making this the 29th anniversary. And whereas cadet leadership programs were started in selected middle schools in 1997, making Wichita a leader in the nation in this initiative. And whereas Junior ROTC and leadership programs are recognized in Wichita for building citizenship and good character in our youth, and whereas there are now more than 2,200 youth participating as cadets in 16 of our public schools, now therefore be it resolved that Peter F. Meissner, the chairman and of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim November 9th, 2023 as Wichita Junior ROTC Leadership Day in recognition of these fine men and women who are becoming better leaders and citizens for the future through their involvement in the Junior ROTC and leadership programs. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the proclamation.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Don't see any comments at this time, so Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye.
And today we have in the audience, first of all, Lieutenant Colonel Poole, who is the director of the JROTC program. We also have 3 cadets with us today, and I had the opportunity of sitting on their selection board about 8-9 months ago. First is Cadet Colonel Maya Rubio. Cadet Colonel Maya Rubio is a senior at Wichita High School Southeast. She has excelled in the classroom, takes both AP and honors courses, has been a member of the Southeast High School debate team for 4 years. Cadet Colonel Rubio has served as a class leader and company commander for JROTC and is a member of her school award-winning Army JROTC drill teams. Cadet Colonel Rubio's school staff call her a high-energy student with a caring attitude for others. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Colin Burris is a senior at Wichita East High School. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Burris is enrolled in a rigorous international baccalaureate program at Wichita High School East, where he maintains a high GPA. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Burris is a leader in his Air Force JROTC class, where he studies aeronautical science. He is interested in flying and is currently a candidate for flight program at McConnell Air Force Base. Lieutenant Colonel Barrow's staff say his desire to reach out to help others who may be struggling to find a way to be their best. And that Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Barrows is confident but extremely humble. And finally, I'd like to introduce Cadet Chief Sergeant Major Tegan Hughes. Cadet Chief Sergeant Major Tegan Hughes, the junior at Wichita High School Northwest. May I add that very seldom is there a junior ever on the leadership corps. Cadet Chief Sergeant Major Tegan Hughes is one of the few juniors ever to be in a leadership JROTC program. He is a 4.0 student while active in team sports at his school. Cadet Chief Sergeant Major Hughes' school staff say he's a young man of strong character who exemplifies integrity in everyday school activities and interaction with peers and authority figures. Well, why am I so interested in JROTC? I started working with them and learning more about them when I was a teacher at North High School, and also worked with them when I was on the Kansas State Board of Education. They have done studies. Their graduation is higher than their peers. Their test scores are higher than their peers. Their daily attendance is higher than their peers. It is not a recruiting tool for the military. It is a tool to keep kids in school and have them excel. So thank you very much, Colonel Poole, for bringing the students and for letting me brag on you for a little while. Thank you.
Thank you. Today we have three outstanding students. They wanted to come say thank you and talk to you a little bit themselves. But they represent all of our students. They're in charge of our 2,100 cadets. They are the core staff, and they went through a rough board to get selected. Actually, Mr. Dennis is on that board to be selected for staff. And these guys really have set themselves apart. One is looking at going to West Point, one's looking to go to the Air Force Academy, and the other is going to University of Kansas next year to be involved in their political science program there. So lots of things going on with GRTC. Again, lots of students motivate young people to be better citizens is our mission, and we're doing that every day. And you'll be able to see that as they talk to you in a few minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cadet Colonel Maya Rubio. I'll be speaking first, and then the rest of my staff will speak. I'm just really proud to be here today, representing over the 2,100 cadets here in USD 259, and I'm proud to be here and accept this recognition, and so is all of my staff. And I would just like to thank everyone who's here today, taking their time out and being dedicated and giving us this opportunity. And a special thanks from the entire JRTC program to Mr. David Dennis, who has spent many years dedicated in supporting our program. We wouldn't be here today without your support. And personally, I know I wouldn't have the position I have running the entire program and boards without you on that board and promoting me and selecting me and being in that process of promoting education, promoting cadets to be better, promoting students to be better, and wanting more. There's a strive that each cadet has in our program to be motivated and go through this program and become better. And because of your dedication to the program, they really had that opportunity to be someone and be the best they can be. I would just like to thank everyone. I would just like to thank this recognition, and I would just like to take this time and really emphasize how much David Dennis has done for our program and how much this proclamation will really do for our entire program. At this time, I'll pass it off to my fellow cadet, Colin. He will speak a couple of words.
Hello, I'm Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Colin Barris from East High School. I'm Deputy of the District, and I represent specifically the high schoolers of the USD 209 JROTC. I would like to thank all y'all for giving us the opportunity. My mother used to work for a district manager position, so I understand how difficult that is. So thank you for doing this job and helping us out. And I would like to thank specifically Mr. Dennis here for representing JROTC and helping us throughout the years. And more personally, I would thank you on a personal level. You know, I do not know you that well. I come from a very poor family down in the South. I lived in Georgia for many years. The only reason I'm here at Kansas is because my parents were in the military and moved here due to job opportunities from the military. And you have helped me with a lot. You've had a position, you're on the board, and you've done most of the JROTC. And without you and people like you for JROTC, I would not have an opportunity to help out my family and go through the military to help provide for them more than I was able to provide for when I was a child. So thank you, and thank everyone for coming here.
That is really nice. Very nice.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cadet Command Sergeant Major Tegan Hughes, and I specifically represent the middle schools that are involved in leadership and JROTC. So to start this off, just like the rest of my staff said, big thank you for David Dennis and his support for the last 20 years. Truthfully, I believe that not only high school leadership, but leadership all throughout the district, including the middle schools, wouldn't be the same without David Dennis. So special thanks to him. Also, special thank yous to the Sedgwick County Commission for letting me and my team have an amazing opportunity to not only watch the proclamation happen, but kind of get into the logistics of what it looks like and what has to be accounted for that. Without the Sedgwick County Commissioner's Office, like I said, special thanks to David Dennis, I do not believe that leadership in ROTC would be the same in Wichita without him. So thank you guys for letting us come here and watch the proclamation and see what a little bit happens. You guys have a great rest of your morning. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. There's a couple of, maybe a comment or two. Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Chairman. I've known Commissioner Dennis has been really involved in this, but it's good to hear testimony from people who are impacted by that dedication and service and sacrifice that he's made. And so thank you, Commissioner Dennis, Colonel Dennis, for your service to our community. He's been involved in our schools in a number of different ways, and I just appreciate his service to our community. Regarding your appearance here this morning, I just want to say I wish they would have had this when I was in Wichita Public Schools. I was a messed up kid. I didn't have parents paying attention to what was going on, and things were kind of bad at the time. And until I joined the military, I was kind of aimlessly wandering in life, and it changed me. And one thing the military does, it takes people who are very diverse and makes them appear to have incredible unity. And as you appear this morning, you have different uniforms, you have different schools, but you come together. And I just think it really shows a unity of leadership that you're able to do that. You're demonstrating leadership in a way that, again, I think for many people in our community, they look at schools and they say, you know, they may judge the quality of our students or whatever. I can tell you that by getting to know the ROTC students, I'm very impressed. I'm proud of you all. I'm beaming. I hope your parents are beaming, because this is amazing. That you guys are demonstrating leadership and learning about leadership, and I would tell you that you are the future leaders of our next generation. So anyway, the military has changed me, but you guys have a jump on that because you're getting to do this in high school, and it has given you a jump in life. So I want to say, Lieutenant Colonel Poole, am I saying that right? Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your sacrifice to these kids as well. You're doing amazing work, and I just want to say thank you for that. And I also want to comment one final thing. I like to pride myself in learning about ranks, learn about ranks, and we can recognize someone in the military to know their rank by looking at their insignia. I'm completely confused. I look at these three people. I have no idea what I'm looking at, so I appreciate you telling me your ranks and your history here. I must be losing it because I have no idea what I'm looking at. But your uniforms are impressive, and that just tells me you're not just going through the motions. You're actually leading, because you don't get that stuff by accident. They get that stuff because they're recognized for their service within their organization. So when you see all this stuff on their uniform, it's because they're doing great work. And so I just want to say I am impressed, and see what else I want to say. That's pretty much it. But I want to say thank you all. Thank you all for making it here this morning. I'm looking forward to our our parade there in Century 2 on November the 9th. And thank you, Commissioner Dennis, for letting me read the proclamation at that event as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay.
There was one other thing that we wanted to hand off to Colonel Dennis.
Okay.
I want to give him a physical award for being such a great mentor to the program. Sir, thank you so much. It says there that he's really helped us for the last 20 or so years, and we and you can tell the students and I really appreciate all that he's done for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Commissioner Dennis, do you have anything besides?
Thank you very much for the award. I sincerely appreciate that, and for all the kind words. It is an honor to work with JOTC and the cadets, and it's been a pleasure. One event that I already mentioned is the formal military parade in honor of our veterans. Everyone is invited to that on Thursday morning. All veterans, even if you're not a veteran, come see it. If you've never seen a formal military parade, it's very impressive to see over 2,000 cadets parade in formation. But there's also another big event coming up that is put together by JROTC and the American Legion, and it's sponsored by Spirit. And that's going to happen on Saturday morning. It starts at 11 o'clock on Main Street in front of the courthouse, and it's to honor all of our veterans. And again, thanks to JROTC for putting that on. But the parade will go down Main Street, come across to McLean, go back up and end at Expiration Place. When they get at Expiration Place, all veterans, their families, Gold Star families will all be able to get into Expiration Place free of charge. Our Register of Deeds will be at Expiration Place for any veteran that has not filed their DD-214 yet. They can file that. They can get a government-issued ID card that shows that they are a veteran. We're going to have the wagon masters cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. There's a lot of events happening. There's going to be a show and shine for any of the cars that were in the parade that wanted to stay and park at Expiration Place for people to come and see it. There will be a ceremony at the end of that. Congressman Estes will be in the parade. I've already talked to him about that. We've got a World War II Jeep for him to ride in. So there's a lot happening, but it's all because of JROTC. So thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. And I think we're going to take a quick break. It's up to the chairman, but I think we're going to go out and take some pictures.
Okay. And do we want to, you want to take, okay. We're going to take about a 5-minute, oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Lopez.
Sorry, I'll just take 2 seconds. I don't have a whole lot more that I can add because there's so many great things have already been said, but I just want to throw in that, you know, I think about the future of this community and the leaders, that what that's going to look like. You guys make me so hopeful for what our possibilities are in the future, and it's young leaders like you that's going to take us there. So thank you for everything that you do. We are all extremely impressed by those resumes that we heard, and I don't know how you guys can fit all of that in, but congratulations and thank you all for being here today.
Okay. So for the audience and the people watching, we're going to take a 5-minute break just for some quick photographs, and then we'll be back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
the strangest things in the pockets. I got events. I always.
Your kids stick it in?
No, I don't know where my.
Chairman already calls him commissioner anyway.
Okay. We're back. We're on. Okay, we're back from the recess. Thank you, everybody, for your patience, letting us have a great congratulatory photograph with these young people. So, Madam Clerk, I think we're at next item, please.
New business, item C, acceptance of a donation for COMCARE Children's Program.
Good morning, Joan Tammany.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joan Tammany, Executive Director at COMCARE. I'm here today because COMCARE received a $200 donation from a nursing facility for a presentation staff did for their residents and staff earlier this summer. We appreciate the generosity and will honor their request to utilize these funds for our children's program to purchase resources to use with youth and services. I'd ask you to accept the donations, authorize the chairman to sign the letter of acknowledgement, and establish authority for the budget.
Okay. Any questions? Very good. That's very generous of them. I'll make a motion that we approve the submission of the donation.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye. Thanks again, Joan. Next item, please.
Item D, acceptance of memorial donations to the Suicide Prevention Coalition in honor of Aaron KERSCHEN.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Joan.
morning, Joan Tammany again with COMCARE. This time I'm here to ask you to accept memorial donations in honor of Aaron KERSCHEN. Aaron died of suicide at the age of 25 in August of this year. He's actually from my community of Goddard, and it's clear that his family and Aaron were really loved because you could see by the abundance of donations and the donation total of $7,470 that this was a tough death. I tried to reach the family and invite them as well as the Suicide Prevention Coalition chair, but was unable to reach either of them last week. These donations will be used to further the coalition's effort to provide suicide prevention education to the community. I know they've been talking about bringing in a speaker for the community, and this might help them be able to achieve this. But Aaron, at 25, was a really beloved individual of the community. His family described him in his obituary as kind-hearted, generous, easy to laugh, and one who wanted to help and make others laugh, and that he was also hardworking and just an overall really cool individual. I think it's a real tragedy that we lost Aaron. One of the risk protective factors is having a trusted adult you can speak to, and I'm confident in this situation that Aaron actually had that. So while we can't prevent every loss, we could certainly make sure that we try to prevent many losses by having a community that's well educated and willing to have those tough conversations. And I say that because tonight we are hosting, along with our Zero Reasons Why partners, our spring community forum at WSU Marcus Welcome Center tonight at 5 o'clock. And the topic is Let's Talk, and it's about suicide conversations and being there for youth in their time of need and their struggle. And just like we just saw those amazing youth here just a moment ago, this event is going to be hosted and championed by the Youth Teen Council for our Zero Reasons Why campaign here in Wichita. So I know Commissioner Beatty and I will both be there, and anybody in the community is welcome to join us as well. It's 5 o'clock at the Marcus Welcome Center at WSU. And if you can't make it to that, we do have mental health first aid training for both youth and adults. And I also want to remind everybody, as Commissioner Howell said this morning, it's easy to remember, 988. It's our lifeline here in Wichita. So I'd ask you to accept the donations on behalf of the Suicide Prevention Coalition and sign those abundance of letters of appreciation to all the donors of these funds.
Thank you, Joan, and thanks for the background and the explanation. And that's a sad thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I make a motion to approve the submission of the donations and authorize the actions.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Joan. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item E, presentation of the quarterly financial report.
Good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Chairman Meitzner and Commissioners. For the record, I'm Brent Shelton, your Deputy CFO, here this morning to present the quarterly report for the third quarter of 2023. This report will summarize the fiscal activities of Sedgwick County for the first 9 months of 2023. The report and the presentation are the products of both the accounting and the budget teams in the Division of Finance. It is their work product that you're going to be presented with this morning, and I would remind you that this report is based on unaudited financial statements, subject to some minor adjustments as we go through the audit process when we complete that financial audit after the end of the year. You've each received a copy of the report. It'll be posted on the county's website at the conclusion of this presentation. Now, as I go through the report, it should be no surprise to you that I hope to present to you an unexciting but even an unsurprising report. In the world of local government finance, that is a good thing.
Looking forward to it.
As we begin, let's take a look at where we anticipate we will be at the end of the year with our fund balances across all the operating funds throughout the county. This is sort of a trend with what we have seen throughout the year. And in the first two funds, County General Fund and our Bond and Interest Fund, we're anticipating some increases in year-end fund balance from the beginning of the year for about $2.5 million. In the General Fund, primarily as a result of increased tax collections and investment earnings. We've paid down some debt in the Bond and Interest Fund, so we're anticipating about a $3 million increase in fund balance there. The other property tax supported funds, if you recall a couple of years ago, there were some funds that were consolidated into the General Fund. As those fund balances are moved out, we'll anticipate a decrease in those fund balances. COVID-related fiscal stimulus is receipted and dispersed out of our non-property tax supported funds, as the ARPA funds were receipted over the last 2 years and they're being spent down over the next couple of years. We're seeing a reduction or a planned reduction in those fund balances. Fire district should remain relatively flat, and our enterprise and internal service funds expected to decline a bit year over year as a result of some CIP projects at the Interest Bank Arena and the absence of a fiscal stimulus that we received last year. Let's take a little deeper dive into those county property tax supported funds. And this graph will show you that we are up about $21.5 million across those 5 funds that are supported with a dedicated property tax levy for the first 9 months of the year. Expenditures in those same funds are up about $14.1 million. And what we have been doing for the last few years is removing COVID-related expenditures from these charts. And you see that the $213 million expended so far in 2023 is the same as we spent in 2022. So we have actually really not spending much, excuse me, on COVID-related expenses in these funds with the property tax support. A little deeper dive into some of the details, and as we mentioned earlier, property taxes are the primary driver in our top revenues in these property tax supported funds. They're up almost $11 million for the first 9 months over last year. We're seeing a significant increase in our investment income. Year to date last year, we'd earned about $1 million. So far this year, about $7.5 million. Let's take a look at the expenditures in these funds as well. And what we're seeing here is that the personnel expenditures, they represent the biggest expenditure in the county. And you can see the effects in terms of percentage changes through most of the columns that are directly attributable to salaries and wages and those related expenses, up about 6 to 7% across the board. The employer portion of insurance premiums is down. That's just a function of the fact that there were more pay periods this time last year than there have been so far this year. Non-personnel expenditures across those 5 funds with the property tax support, you see an increase in grant awards. This is where we book the $1.5 million for Wichita State. Higher tax receipts would represent higher money, higher distributions going to WSU for that. The medical professional services, we've talked about this throughout the year. We booked that encumbrance at the beginning of the year, so you're looking in the third quarter of about a 12 months worth of encumbrance where that didn't happen last year. So that's primarily a timing thing. It should level out as we go through the rest of the year. Take a quick look at the fire district where we see revenues for the first 9 months in the fire district up by just about $2 million. That's a result of their assessed value increase. The expenditures in the fire district up by about $2.7 million over that same time period. In terms of a little more detail, you see that 6.2% increase in their property tax collections for the first 9 months. Motor vehicle tax is also seeing some increases with them. There's still, as we've visited about throughout the year, increases in overtime expenditures year over year. Some vacant positions yet to be filled are resulting in some additional overtime costs there. And the contractual's up by about $2 million as a result of that debt prepayment that was authorized by the commission previously. In the 37 operating funds throughout the county that don't have a dedicated property tax, you can see our revenues for the third quarter are off by about $36 million year over year. Now, what you're seeing on this chart is in 2020 the receipt of about $100 million in CARES revenues and about $50 million a year in 2021 and 22 from the ARPA funds. No such federal stimulus funds were received in 2023. Expenditures across these funds are down so far this year by about $2.5 million, decreasing by about 3%. Again, let's remove COVID-related revenues and expenses and look at what the chart would look like. We're seeing an increase across these funds of about $14 million exclusive of COVID-related money that we received in the last 3 years. And a pretty modest $2 million increase in expenditures if we remove COVID-related expenditures from these funds. In terms of details, the big drivers in terms of the top 10 revenues that were received this year versus last year, we see the results on the top line and the bottom line with the PPS1 Medicaid fee increase of about $11.5 million. That's a result of the new CCBHC billing model in COMCARE, resulting in higher fees for services. That's offset a bit from the bottom line, where we're booking things, those fees that used to be booked in Medicaid fees, now they're in the new line item, PPS1 Medicaid fees, but you're still up by about $8.5 million year over year. As we've mentioned previously, the state revenue in corrections is a result of some of the state funding that was to help us increase the pay for intensive supervision officers. Across the board, we're not seeing much that's out of the ordinary across these funds. Expenditures in the same arena, salaries and wages up by about 12.5%, $3 million, a result of the new pay plan in COMCARE as people are receiving those compensation adjustments. Facilities improvements up by about $7 million. Primarily, those are ARPA dollars being spent for the courthouse remodel to deal with court backlog. And our Medicaid pass-through payments, just as we're charging more through the new billing model in COMCARE, so too are the providers of service. Our partners are receiving higher fees as well. Every year we have an annual cycle where we collect our large tax distributions in the first and second quarters of each year, and then those monies are spent down in the third and fourth quarter. This graph depicts that activity over a 6-year period, and at first look it might look erratic, but it's pretty steady year over year. County financial policy states that we will maintain a minimum balance of unrestricted funds in the general fund at 20% of the general fund budgeted expenditures, and you can see that we have exceeded this benchmark for the life of this chart as we take a 6-year look back. Our investment portfolio continues to improve. We, as I mentioned earlier, earned about $7.5 million for the first 9 months of the year, contrasted to about $1 million for the same time period last year. That's on about $16 million less that we had to invest during that same time period. So we're seeing an increase in our return of about 2.1%. That's up from 1.4% for the same time period last year. We're continuing to see some improvements in this area. Some significant capital projects that either saw completion or significant activity in the third quarter. We have the public safety building secure parking project. That land was acquired in July, and that's to allow sufficient secure parking for the 24/7 operation for the 911 staff. Solicitation is currently open on the county's website for the fencing that will surround that parking lot. The emergency communications remodel was completed in August. That involved the partial demolition of a couple of offices, its conference room, the creation of 44 new workstations, new chairs, and so forth in the emergency communications facility. 2 bridge projects that one was completed and one's in progress by Public Works. The bridge on 103rd Street South between 119th Street West and 135th Street West near the Clearwater High School. So that project was started as soon as school finished in May. It was completed 2 days after school started to minimize the disruption on students and faculty in school. And that project did come in a couple $100,000 under budget. The bridge rehabilitation on Zoo Boulevard over the MS Mitch Mitchell floodway is in the second of 4 phases of work there. It was begun just after Jubilee completed. The project is currently progressing on schedule. So I would conclude with some key points. One is that we continue to have a sound fiscal condition throughout Sedgwick County. There are still some pressures outside our control. Inflation, although it is lessening, it is still out there, and that is having some impact on some of the interest rate increases. The Fed Open Market Committee is meeting today. I don't expect that they're going to raise rates at their 1 o'clock announcement today. We may even see some easing as we get into next year. But while those are pressures on borrowing, they also provide us with some opportunities for some additional investment income. Low unemployment throughout the region continues to help this economy grow. It also provides competition for us as an employer. And we await federal and state legislative decisions to see what fiscal impacts they would have on us. In terms of budget challenges and strategic use of ARPA, there's always that balance between the community service expectations and what they expect of us in terms of fiscal responsibility. We continue to have workforce challenges. Some of that's being stabilized through the compensation adjustments, technology, forever evolving ways in which we deliver public service, and there are some space and facilities decisions that are coming in the near future that are going to impact us fiscally. So with that, I would stand for any questions and would request that you receive and file the report.
Okay, Brent, thanks. It looks like as you say in your last page, remains in a sound position, I believe. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know, is there any other questions? I think I've got a few, but I think I'd rather talk to you both on the side on something.
Certainly.
So I understand and not prolong some of the dialogue, as far as I'm concerned.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, be glad to. Just a few. Anyway, any other comments or questions? Okay, I don't see any. I'll make a motion that we receive and file the third quarter report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye. Thanks again, Brent, and to the staff and everybody for this. Appreciate it. Next item, please.
Item F, report of the Board of Bids and Contracts, regular meeting on October 26, 2023.
Good morning,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Joe Thomas, Purchasing Director. We have two items that we recommend that came from the regular board meeting of the Board of Bids and Contracts on October 26. First item is Drader Estates grading, street, and drainage improvements for Public Works. And the recommendation is to accept the low bid from Meese Construction Incorporated, and it's in the amount of $860,445.03. And the final item, appointment reminder, COMCARE. And this recommendation is to accept the quote from Infinite LLC, and it's in the amount of $54,000 for a term of 5 years. So I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you may have, and I recommend approval.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Does anybody have any questions about these two items? I don't see any. I'll make a motion that we approve the Board of Bids and Contracts as presented.
I second that.
Motion is second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Joe, and thanks to the staff for all the work. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Mr. Manager.
Good morning, Chairman and Commission. Tom Stills, County Manager's Office. Recommend approval of consent items G through J this morning.
Commissioners, you've seen the consent items G through J. Is there any questions or comments or any reason to pull any of them? I don't see any. So I'll make a motion that we approve consent items G through J.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Beatty.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Meitzner.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Committee reports.
Committee reports. Commissioners, you serve on some committees. I don't know if you've had any meetings this week since the last time, so I don't see any committee reports. Next item, please.
Other.
Other. Commissioners have anything under other that they would like to comment on? I'll just comment that we do have an election. It's been talked about. Be Tuesday, so it'll be this time next week. There will be an election that's over with as of Tuesday night. Just remind everybody to please vote, and that's your honor. I think Commissioner Howell made a nice comment that if there's only traditionally about 50,000 voters on this election, and there's 500,000 people in the county, and so your vote represents nearly 9 or 10 voices. And I thought the way you said that was pretty good.
That's good, thank you.
So anyway, Commissioner Beatty.
Thank you, Chairman. Joan had made mention of it, but I'd like to also add some emphasis to the event this afternoon. COMCARE is partnering with Zero Reasons Why. Hopefully you remember the presentation with several of these kids from some of our area high schools came and gave to us earlier in the year. It's at 5 p.m. We're calling it a community convening. It's at WSU's Marcus Welcome Center. These conversations are important and these forums are important. You know, annually 50,000 people in the United States die from suicide annually. And there is some progress being made, particularly in the categories, the youth categories 10 to 24. The last 2 years, we've actually seen percentage decreases in these age demographics and death by suicide. And some of the reasons for this, twofold. One is the stigma surrounding suicide is changing. We're more comfortable as a society now and as a community having conversations around this topic, and that's important for people to understand that they can seek help without the negative stigma. And the second one is resources are growing, but it's not just resources growing, it's the awareness of the resources, and that's equally as important, as people need to know what resources exist in their community. So conversations like this go a long way in attacking the stigma and the resources and the awareness components of this really complex situation. So I appreciate Joan will be there. We'll be on a panel this afternoon, and the community is welcome at 5 p.m. at the Wichita State Marcus Welcome Center.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Beatty, for your efforts in this endeavor and your participation and your leadership. Commissioner Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. I've been invited to a luncheon tomorrow at Ability Point, and you'll recognize that that's one group of people that I advocate for continuously, because they can't advocate for themselves a lot of times. Tomorrow we'll have lunch with the parents of some of those children and the children. But again, it drives home the reason why programs like Starkey and Ability Point are vital to our community. So I just want to thank them for inviting me tomorrow, and I will continue to advocate to support those organizations, and hopefully we can start reducing the waiting list to get services for those kids. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your commitment to that endeavor. And that reminds me, Commissioner Beatty, there's another meeting on the homeless world on Friday, if you want to mention that. And Commissioner Howell, you two have taken leadership in that. So.
Yeah, we have been convening conversations with our state legislators, a roundtable, Friday morning, 8 a.m. This will be the third roundtable. The topic originally was centered on just the emergency winter shelter situation, but the topic is also diversified a bit, and we're talking about the general need with homelessness services and the state's role. I'm hopeful and really encouraged, frankly, in several roundtable opportunities we've had with our state legislatures. These are their constituents too, and I think we have a responsibility to make sure that our state South Central delegation is aware of the challenges we have here on a local level, and also the opportunities they have to participate. So I appreciate Commissioner Howell. He was the one, this was his idea, and he's the one who's helped convene these things. And I think the conversations have been fruitful, and hopeful that we'll be able to get some good progress with state participation and partnership moving forward.
Okay, and thank you for your coordinating that. And I think those meetings have been productive, and they are available. They're public. Anybody can attend them, and they're also Zoomed, I believe.
And thank you, Chairman. You know, I just wanted to again, I want to thank Commissioner Beatty as well, and our staff. Our staff has done a great job to facilitate these meetings. I think what's fresh about these meetings is bringing in our state partners, and the conversation has been, I guess, less transparent than I would like to have it. And I think this has been more transparent, so it's moved it in the right direction, so the community has a greater awareness of what's going on and who the people are. So but I also want to say I appreciate especially having city, county, and state in the same room at the same table, having a very candid conversation. So this has been refreshing. And we have some state partners that are very passionate, just as much as anybody around the local government has been. They care about this deeply as well. So I appreciate them coming to the table. In that vein, we also have there is an interim committee next week next Thursday on November the 9th, a week from tomorrow, in Topeka. And it's an all-day interim committee meeting. And we have both Republicans and Democrats and House and Senate all in the same room, plus state staff will all be there. And they will offer a public speaking opportunity as well. We'll have experts from other places, including inside the state and outside the state, and research will provide some data, and I'm sure they'll have all kinds of ideas that are floated and talk about the money. And again, so I think we need to have a presence there. I think if we can, someone needs to travel up there and hopefully coordinate a chance to speak before this body. But I think this is a significant step moving in the direction where we see real solutions coming forward. So I'm looking forward to that meeting. Please tune in. It'll be on YouTube Live next Thursday next week, as well as Chairman already said, all these meetings are open to the public. So anybody has an interest in these topics, please either attend or tune in. You can watch what's going on. And again, we'd love to have more ideas and more people engaged in the conversation. So thank you, Chairman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, and Commissioner Lopez.
And I just want to mention that we have the next advisory board for the mental health hospital on Monday. So if anybody wants any more information about that, that's on Monday afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks for those reminders. Our other is taking the place of our committee assignments since we're. But anyway, okay. Anything else? I don't see no other business needs to come before the board, and so thank you all for tuning in and watching. And a very productive day. So with that, we will stand adjourned.
Another unanimous